Hello and greetings again. This is my second video today. The first one was a completely different subject. Today, the title of this video, which is in the self-care video series, it's number 2, and the title is Constipation and Hernia. Now, I talked about constipation in my previous video of this series number 1, and so I'm just giving an update of my progress. Now, I know that there are many people who are suffering from various health conditions, and it is my intention to talk about what I'm experiencing so that if anybody else is able to resonate with what I'm saying, the information may be of some help. Behind me, you can see a picture of turmeric root. And so I'm going to talk about turmeric, ginger, triphala, a few other Ayurvedic remedies that have been extremely helpful to me. So in terms of the constipation, I'm making good progress. I'm not there yet. Within a few days, 3 or 4 days, I started to normalize and to actually regain balance, like normality. It may take me some weeks or even more because it took me weeks or more to get out of balance. So I've watched my diet. I take in the morning a mixture of 3 ingredients. The first one is triphala, which is it's probably the most powerful balancing agent Ayurveda has to offer. There are 3 main different types of constitutions: vata, pitta, and kapha. Vata is characterized by dryness and coldness and lightness. So if I eat food that's cold, dry, and light, I'm going to aggravate my vata condition. So it would be better for me to eat warm, moist, and slightly heavier foods. Pitta is fiery, peppery, hot, spicy. So if you eat hot, peppery, spicy foods, you're going to make your pitta constitution out of balance. And the kapha constitution is moist, oily, unctuous. And if you eat a lot of foods that are very moist and oily and unctuous and fatty, you're going to suffer the consequences. This is just generally, there's more to it, but it's just general. So we are all a combination of these 3 constitutions to one degree or another, which means that we are all quite individual. It depends on the percentages. Now, with me, I am mainly a vata, constitution, and then a second, but not too far off, a pitta, and very little kapha. Kapha also is represented by very fleshy people. Vata are very skinny people, and you can read up more about it. So triphala helps to balance all 3 of these constitutions. So I take a teaspoon of triphala in hot water with a herb called ashwagandha, which is the Ayurvedic herb that supports the male principle. It helps to consolidate testosterone, which becomes less and less as you get older. And my wife has triphala in the morning, and she has shitavari, which is the Ayurvedic herb that supports the female principle, and this helps to consolidate estrogen. Now, the interesting thing is that males also have estrogen, but much less, and females also have testosterone, but much less. So I take also a very small tip of the teaspoon of the shatavari, and Abigail, my wife, takes a small tip of the teaspoon of ashwagandha. And this way we are hoping to balance out that which is required to balance out as we get older. Now, turmeric is, as I said in my previous video, one of the most powerful anti-inflammatory agents. And yet, there's much more to it. Here is a book. I'm sorry, it just doesn't seem to be. It doesn't seem to work. My camera is not picking it up. I wonder why. It's very weird. Hello? It comes and it goes. Oh, well. The book is called Turmeric, The Ayurvedic Spice of Life, and it's written by Prashanti Diega, Prashanti, and then lowercase de, and then capital Jager, capital Jager, with a foreword by Dr. David Frawley, a very well-known and accomplished Ayurvedic physician. And there you will find what turmeric can do, and it supports one's energy. It's used a lot in beauticians in India. First aid, wounds, rashes, concussion, sprains, snake bites, immunity, allergies, pain and inflammation. It is an anti-inflammatory. It's an antioxidant, huge antioxidant, antimicrobial. It is anti-cancer. It's extremely helpful in cooking, used as a spice. It's a detoxifying agent. When I have a sore throat, which is not very often, but when I do, immediately half a teaspoon of turmeric, half a teaspoon of Himalaya salt in a glass of hot water, boiled water, and I gargle with that. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter how bad your throat is. If it's really bad, if you have a strep throat, you may have to gargle 3 times a day, but I have had extremely good success with that. It's good for the heart, it's good for the blood, it's good for the nerves, it's good for the respiratory system, it's good for stomach and intestines, it's a calmative, it's good for gastric ulcers, it's good for hemorrhoids. Aha! Yes, that's good for me. It's good for diabetes, it's a diuretic, helps you go to pee. It's very, very good for cholesterol. I had extremely good positive results with cholesterol. It's an anticoagulant, blood mover. And there's more, but that gives you a very good idea. Ginger is called the queen of spices. It's second to turmeric. And if you have a cold, it is very, very good to have to eat ginger, fresh ginger, not the dry ginger. I cut slices. I don't get colds, but if I feel cold, I will make myself some ginger tea, and it warms you up. It's heating. It's wonderful. Or I'll suck on a small slice of ginger. If you are wishing to stimulate your digestive ability, a small thin slice of ginger with a little tiny bit of Himalaya salt, or sea salt, but I think Himalaya salt's better because a lot of the oceans are polluted now. And you chew this before you eat. That's very helpful. So my situation with the constipation is definitely improving. Unfortunately, the hemorrhoids are still there, although they are less active. But I feel I did the damage by pushing too hard when I was constipated. That was my mistake. Now, tomorrow, which is Sunday, I have an appointment on Zoom with a Ayurvedic doctor in India. I'm going to have a consultation and discuss what I can do with the hemorrhoids. And if I'm required to take some other Ayurvedic medicines, I believe that they will be able to mail it to me from India. I've had this done before, but we'll see how it goes, and I will report on this. I've also developed at this time a hernia, which is the second one in 35 years. And I'm just wondering whether the hernia and the hemorrhoids are related. At the moment, I'm putting castor oil compress on the hernia, and I've been doing that for 2 days. It's a left inguinal hernia, and I cannot report any progress as yet. I'm wearing a hernia belt so that it doesn't get worse, but I will also be speaking to the Ayurvedic doctor about this because there's definitely something I can do with various herbal remedies. I'm thinking Ayurveda, and I am not interested really at this point of any surgical procedures. Now, in order to find out whether you are a Vata dominant or Pitta dominant or Kapha dominant, and in some rare cases, the people are equally all three. But usually, one of these constitutions or doshas is dominant. Now, in order to find out what you are, it is good to go to a Ayurvedic practitioner or doctor. They will take your pulse. It's 3 pulses, and they'll be able to tell you. If you're not able to do that, you are able to answer a list of questions. It's called a dosha test. And if you go on the internet, you can find several, but you've got to make sure that it's a good one. And I would suggest you find 3 different ones, 3 different tests, 3 different sets of tests, and then answer those and then take the average, because the questions are very subjective and a lot of people have difficulty in answering these subjective questions. But if you are honest with yourself and you answer them quickly rather than thinking about it, you will most probably arrive close to the truth. Once you have found out what your constitution is, then you will be able to eat food that supports that constitution. And I purchased many years ago Ayurvedic recipe books, and this is what I cook by. And when in 2003 I started with Ayurveda, before that I couldn't boil water. I was useless. And I learned. And I just followed the recipes and I studied a little bit and learned. And as a layperson, I know a reasonable amount. There's still much more for me to learn, but I'm happy to just be a layperson. And I have developed the ability to cook quite well Ayurvedic food. And it works for me wonderfully. I do believe that it'll work for most people because it accommodates what your particular constitution is or dosha. Now, with the triphala, going back to that because I forgot, triphala tri 3 is really 3 fruits from India. And the fruits are amalaki, which is Indian gooseberry, and the Latin name is Emblica officinalis. The second fruit is bibhitaki, terminala bellarica in Latin, and haritaki, which in Latin is terminalia cebula. And they are fruits. They are very, very rich in vitamin C, at least the amalaki is, and they have incredible healing capacities. When you find a substance that helps balance your digestive system, you really are creating a basis for your good health, because most of our ill health, most, not all, but most, in most cases, originates from poor digestion and improper dietary lifestyle. It's really important for you to find what is right for you. I mean, people say, oh, you know, I'm on this diet and you should eat raw food. Well, raw food is the worst thing for me because I'm a Vata. And I do eat salads and raw food from time to time, but it's a very small proportion of my overall diet, because it is better for me to eat cooked, warm food than cold, raw salads, because that's a Vata constitution. And salads are very good for pitta, perhaps. So different foods are good for different constitutions. I love potatoes, but potatoes are not good for Vata. I love tomatoes, but the nightshade family, are not good for Vata. But I love zucchini, and that works very well for me. And rice works very well for me. And black lentils work very well for me. Mung beans, the green whole mung beans and the split mung beans work very well for me. And there's plenty more that works for Vata. But you are to find what works for you, you see. It's not, food is not a one-size-fits-all situation. So that's all I have to report in this particular video. Thank you for joining me on this dietary lifestyle journey, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.